Your heart is racing right now, or it was 10 minutes ago. Someone tagged you in a comment you haven't read yet. Your palms are damp. Your chest feels tight. Nothing in this room can hurt you. But the real answer for why your body reacts like this is far stranger than stress. It's not stress at all. It's something 300,000 years old, still running in the background of your skull. And it has never once received the memo that the danger is gone. Your brain does not know what century it is. It never has. It was built for a world of open grassland, sudden movement in tall grass, and predators that could end your life in 4 seconds. That world shaped every wire in your head, and most of that wiring is still switched on. Think about the last time you felt embarrassed in front of a group. Your face went hot. Your stomach dropped. Some part of you wanted to disappear. That is not a modern glitch. That is an ancient alarm system doing exactly what it was designed to do. So why does a comment section trigger the same circuitry as a lion in the grass? The neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux spent decades studying a small almond-shaped structure buried deep in the brain called the amygdala. It doesn't reason. It doesn't wait for context. Ledoux's research showed that the amygdala can trigger a full fear response before the rest of your brain even finishes processing what it's looking at. A shadow moves. Your body reacts. Only afterward does your thinking brain catch up and say, "Relax, it was just a curtain." For your ancestors, that speed saved lives. A half-second of hesitation in front of a predator was often the difference between surviving and becoming a meal. Evolution does not reward accuracy, it rewards speed. A brain that occasionally mistakes a stick for a snake survives. A brain that carefully studies every stick before reacting does not. This is the trade your ancestors made, generation after generation, without ever knowing they were making it. And it worked. For roughly 200,000 years, humans lived in small bands on the African savanna, constantly scanning the horizon. Every rustle in the brush mattered. Every unfamiliar face at the edge of the group mattered. The physiologist Walter Cannon was the first to name what happens in that moment. In 1915, he described what he called the fight-or-flight response, the surge of adrenaline and cortisol that floods your body the instant your brain senses threat. Faster heartbeat, sharper senses, blood pulled away from digestion and pushed toward your muscles, your body preparing to run or to fight in less time than it takes to blink. Cannon was studying physiology in a lab. He had no idea he was describing something that would still be firing, unchanged, in office workers scrolling through their phones 100 years later. Here is the strange part. Your body cannot tell the difference between a predator and a deadline. The stress response doesn't check your calendar. It doesn't know that the thing chasing you now is an unanswered email, not a leopard. The biologist Robert Sapolsky, who spent years observing wild baboons in Kenya, found something remarkable. Baboons, like humans, live in complex social groups. And baboons, like humans, can trigger the exact same stress response just from social tension. A baboon losing status in the troop shows the same physiological stress markers as a baboon fleeing a lion. Sapolsky's conclusion was blunt. Humans are essentially doing the same thing, just with more sophistication and far more triggers. We activate an emergency system built for physical danger, and we point it at things that will never actually kill us. A traffic jam, a tense meeting, a text message that says, "We need to talk." Your ancestors' alarm system had maybe a handful of real triggers a week. Yours has dozens a day. Does that sound exhausting? It should, because your body is still preparing every single time, as if the stakes were survival. Now picture an actual hunt, 60,000 years ago. A small group moves through dry grass at dusk. Someone spots movement near a thicket. Every head turns at once. Nobody discusses it. Nobody weighs the odds out loud. Bodies simply react together, instantly, because the ones who paused to think it over did not pass on their genes. That instant, shared alertness is still inside you. It's why a sudden loud noise in a quiet room makes everyone flinch at once. It's why walking alone at night still raises the hair on your arms, even in a perfectly safe neighborhood. Your rational brain knows you're safe. Your ancient brain has never gotten the update. The psychiatrist Randolph Nesse, one of the founders of the field of evolutionary medicine, has argued that many of the emotional responses we now label as disorders are not malfunctions at all. They're a mismatch. Anxiety, in his framing, is not a broken smoke detector. It's a smoke detector doing exactly its job in a house that no longer has a fire. The problem isn't the alarm. The problem is that the alarm can't tell the difference between smoke and steam. That reframing changes everything, doesn't it? Because it means the racing heart before a presentation isn't weakness. It's a 200,000-year-old survival mechanism misfiring in a conference room instead of a grassland. It means the anxiety before checking your phone isn't irrational. It's the same social threat detection system your ancestors used to track their standing in the tribe, now aimed at a follower count instead of a hunting party. Think about what social rejection actually feels like. Not disappointing, painful, physically painful, almost like an injury. That's not a coincidence. Researchers using brain imaging have found that social exclusion activates some of the same neural regions involved in physical pain. For most of human history, being cast out of the group wasn't an inconvenience. It was often a death sentence. A lone human on the savannah, without the group's eyes, without the group's spears, rarely lasted long. So your brain treats social rejection like physical danger, because for almost the entire span of human existence, it was. This is the part most people never stop to consider. Every uncomfortable, irrational, oversized emotional reaction you've ever had probably made perfect sense 40,000 years ago. The jealousy when a partner talks to someone else, the dread of public speaking, the way silence after you speak in a meeting feels unbearable. None of it is random. All of it is inherited. You are not walking through the modern world with a modern brain. You are walking through the modern world with a hunter-gatherer's nervous system dressed in office clothes. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The next time your chest tightens before opening an email, that isn't a personal failure. That's 400 generations of ancestors who survived by taking every rustle in the grass seriously, still whispering through your bloodstream. Does that make the feeling any less real? No. But it makes it explainable. And explainable things are easier to work with than mysterious ones. Some researchers now argue that understanding this mismatch is the first real step toward calming it, not by suppressing the alarm, but by recognizing it for what it is: a message from an ancient system misapplied to a modern threat. When you feel that surge of fear, you can ask a simple, powerful question: is this a lion or is this a deadline? Most of the time, it's a deadline. And deadlines, unlike lions, cannot actually kill you. That question alone won't rewire 200,000 years of evolution, but it creates a half-second of space between the alarm and your reaction. And in that half-second, something remarkable happens. The oldest part of your brain sounds the alarm, and the newest part gets to decide whether to listen. Your ancestors never had that luxury. They didn't have time to question the rustle in the grass. You do. So tonight, when your phone buzzes and your stomach drops before you've even looked at it, remember what's actually happening. It isn't your phone. It's not the notification. It's a survival system built on the African savanna, still running exactly as designed, still convinced that every unknown thing in the tall grass might be the last thing you ever see. Your heart is racing right now, or it will be again soon. Not because something is wrong with you, because something deep in you is still trying to keep you alive on a plane you left 300,000 years ago.